December 12, 2014, a teenage boy was walking home in a wooded area of Economy, Pennsylvania when he discovered a severed head. The head belonged to a woman and was located 31 feet off of Mason Road. When police arrived, they noticed that it wasn't like a typical severed head, but instead it almost appeared alive. The woman's skin on her face was smooth, her hair had been perfectly curled, and the head, despite its location, had been carefully preserved. And this was because the head had been previously embalmed. This would quickly become one of Beaver County's strangest unsolved mysteries. Authorities found that the head had been cleanly cut across the arteries and the spinal cord, but that a jagged cut was made along the skin of the neck. When the head was sent off for an autopsy, authorities found that the victim's eyes had been removed and replaced with these red rubber balls, the same style ball that you would get out of a toy vending machine. Authorities stated that these rubber balls were not professional devices and that the act of replacing eyes with these specific rubber balls is not a common practice in funeral homes. But they did note that whoever did this did have some knowledge of anatomy and had placed tan caps over the rubber balls in her eyes. The odd part is that the tan caps are in fact used by funeral directors and embalmers. The location of the severed head was too far from the road to have been placed there accidentally, and because it had been embalmed, it was not disturbed by wild animals. The victim became known as the Beaver County Jane Doe, as they have not been able to identify her. Traditional DNA testing has not been successful due to the previous embalming of the head, but authorities were able to piece together that the woman was between 60 and 80 years old at the time of her death. With isotope testing, investigators found that the woman spent the last 7 months of her life moving between Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland, and New York, and also that she likely grew up in western Pennsylvania. Further tests conducted on the woman's hair found traces of lidocaine and atropine, indicating that she may have died of cardiac arrest. Authorities believe the woman likely wasn't murdered and had been professionally embalmed at a funeral home, but that somebody likely stole the body while it was on its way to the cemetery, also adding that the head had likely been removed after being stolen. Authorities checked to see if any nearby graves had been desecrated or if any funeral homes were missing any cadavers, but that turned up nothing. Police also believe that at least part of the woman's eyes had been removed for medical research or donation, but due to privacy laws, organ donation organizations are unable to release any of that information to authorities. Over the years, multiple sketches and even a clay 3D model of the victim were created, but 8 years later, the woman remains unidentified. And to this day, the rest of her body has never been found.